How's it going, guys? Gonna be doing some fishing this weekend, but I thought real quick I'll go over some of my favorite catfish rigs, I guess you'd say, or basically the only ones I use. So I don't have my rod with me right now, but in my house. So I just grabbed some tri-line, 14-pound test for an example, and then these are what you are gonna need. One of these sinkers I call them egg sinkers. It's probably about half an ounce to an ounce, and you're also gonna need this little, like maybe a quarter ounce, maybe even lighter, 1/16 ounce, or maybe a 1/10 ounce. I'm all out of hooks, so for example, I'm just gonna be using a trailer hook for a spinnerbait. I usually use 5/0 hooks, or small or bigger treble hook. So let's set my phone up real quick so I can show you guys how to do this. Oops, my bad. I'll just hold it. So what you're gonna want to do is, it's better if you do this on your rod, but you get your line, okay, right here, and then you get your, oops, oh my god, I need to keep out my GoPro. So you put the line through the sinker, and this is like a sliding rig is what I call it. So this thing just slides around. When you cast it out, it usually ends up a foot or two away from the bait. And then I like using this with the 5/0 catfish hooks. They're not circle hooks, but I forgot what they're called. Octopus hooks, maybe. And then you're gonna wanna tie it on and a sinker. So when you put your bait on, it's just gonna look like that. When you cast it, all the momentum, the weight, it's gonna slide back down, and it's probably gonna land like, okay, it ain't gonna do that in the water, but you can see it by my foot. That's a sinker, and it's probably gonna be that far away. Another one I like to do is this for when it's windier out. You put one of these on, but then you put on a big split shot sinker right here at whatever your desired depth is. When it's windy out, I usually like to keep it only a foot away at the maximum. So in that way, your bait can move around a little bit, but it's gonna stay within a 1 foot radius. Another one you do, this is for I don't know, it's kind of good for rivers, but also if there's quite a few bullheads in your area, this is a real good one. It's the same setup, but you put on a treble hook, because what happens is you only hook your bait on one of the hooks, and then when the fish goes to grab the bait, it's probably going to come from the baiters, and then it's going to suck it up, and when you pull on it, it's going to get hooked by 2 hooks, and then another hook if that's exposed enough. So that gives you 3 times a better chance to hook the fish. And then if it's not wind, like if it's 100% calm water, like glass, I recommend just putting on a 5/0 hook. Your bait, if it's cut bait, if it's a hot dog, if it's a full gill, if it's a live gill, just leave it. Just cast it out there and leave it. But if you're worried about your bait swimming all around, and if you're using a bell, you don't want it setting off the bell, put on one of these bad boys, or just a split shot, because what that'll do is that will make it harder, not a lot, but a little bit harder for the fish to be moving around. And oops, oh wait, you guys give me a second, my phone's about to die. I'm gonna plug it in and get back to you later. Sorry about that. I just plugged it in, so it's at about 30% now. So as I was saying before, you just use a split shot if you're using live, like if you're using a bluegill that's still alive, So that way, like I said, it doesn't swim around, and then that way it won't tangle your line up. Because what will happen is if you just have, it's on the end of this, well, whatever, here it is. So your hook's gonna be on here, same with your bait. Your bait's gonna be swimming around, and it's all gonna just keep going around the line and stuff. And soon enough, you're gonna have something. You guys can't really see it, but try to put it in the sun, maybe. Where is it? It's gonna be all tangled up in a big old mess. And then what happens then is your line gets all cut up and you lose your fish. Another good rig you can do, this is if saying you've been catching where you're fishing, if you've been catching some northern where you want to do, I don't have one with me, but you can either use a braided line leader, or you get about 6, 8 inch, 12 inch long wire leader, hook that onto your hook, and then you put your sinker, I like to use a sinker even if it's calm out, even with dead bait, whenever I'm using a leader. I don't know why, but it just works good for me. You just put it right where the line and the leader meet. Don't put it on the leader, but you can even do that. Treble hooks, these kind of hooks. The ideal hook for catfishing is a circle hook, but in the past, when I didn't have a lot of money, what we do is we just go buy some cheap bass hooks, kind of like this. They don't work too good, but like I said, octopus hooks, circle hooks, those are the hooks that work the best for catfishing. I usually only use treble hooks for bullheads, or if you're using that the dip bait, the stinky bait where you dip your hook in there with something on it like a sponge. And yeah, those are basically, I think, what, 3 or 4 most used / favorite catfish rigs.